Now let's talk about education, because that's a huge question. And I was writing about this last week, in which obviously the biggest fact of the last 50 years is that women now dominate higher education. In fact, they dominate education at all levels. If you look at elementary school teachers, for example, overwhelmingly women. Majority now of undergraduates are female. We're getting to the point where a majority of grad is, it's past the tipping point now. How has that affected now, what Andrews was arguing in some ways, that women came in and woke it up because they're super sensitive. They don't want people hurt. They're more attuned to people's feelings. They are, they're people pleasers. They're concerned about harm. I'm going back to they're conflict averse and they want more sense of equality. Now, on the face of it, if you look at the way universities are now compared to where they were 40 years ago, that makes a certain amount of sense. The question is are women the reason, or are there other factors that are coming in there that are really causing this, and women are just simply an irrelevant correlation?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't say women are the only reason. I do think they are a important reason. I do think the increase in women in academia has caused, so we have the DEI industry that now it went from being more or less nothing to one of the most important things. If you apply for a job, if you submit to a journal or a conference, you're going to be asked to do some kind of DEI statement, show that you're committed to that, of all priorities. Why equity? Well, equity is aligned with females' prioritization of equity, egalitarianism. This is something women care about. If you look at other changes like trigger warnings and safe spaces, I don't know how much you follow like scientific publishing, but there have been these changes to academic publishing where some journals are now explicitly saying that they will reject or retract papers that they perceive as having the potential to cause harm to vulnerable groups. These are new policies. Why harm to vulnerable groups? Because this is what women care about. We also have other things that, you can.
Can I ask you, do we know in terms of DEI employees what the sex balance is in people who are the enforcers of
I don't know
DEI?
the precise number, but I would guarantee it's majority women. I don't know what percentage, but if you look for support for these policies among students, among the public, among professors, women are more supportive of these policies than men. If you look at more female-dominated fields like social sciences and sort of like the gender studies and things like that, they have more of these policies than more male-dominated areas like physics and computer science. So you see all of that there too. With one thing with the egalitarianism, we see grade inflation. There's a study, this is a really cute study that I like because it maps onto adult patterns as well. There's a study Joyce Benenson ran with, I think these were 3 to 5 year olds, where she had these little kids evaluate colorings and gave the boys and girls stickers to distribute to the colorings. And one was really messy and one was really neat. And boys were more likely to give more stickers to the neat coloring, and little girls were more likely to distribute the stickers equally to these two different colorings. And then we see now there are studies looking at, for example, grades that are given to men and women in college, and women give uniformly higher grades. They tend to they want everybody to do well. And so they give people more grades. And now there's this panic over grade inflation. Grade inflation is not a problem. I don't know.
Of course, it's a massive problem. I think it's like 60% of Harvard get A's at this point. I mean, it's absurd. Yeah. There was this report that came out about it. Yeah. There's a phrase that I hear constantly in the woke circles, or in just generally the liberal educated circles, and that's be kind. This is where all of morality has ended up. The entire structure of Western civilization has come down to, be nice. And be nice means you can't tell someone that sucked. You got to see.